What's up, guys? It's Crash, and this is going to be kind of a wild video and could start a lot of controversy, and the comments could be kind of wild, but I want to kind of get through everything in the state of Gray Zone Warfare's launch, where I sit on it, where some of my friends sit on it, and what I'm seeing the general sentiment around social media, and really talk about this. Kind of, if you haven't bought it yet, this might help inform your decision if you should buy it or not. I also want to get into, it's really no secret that some of the biggest issues are people's performance. So I want to talk about some of the fixes that I've seen floating around on social media, as well as Steam, also with what Gray Zone has said as graphics settings to help you guys out if you are having those troubles. I will leave a time tag down below if you are just interested in that and getting up and running and not interested in kind of this controversial discussion about the launch of the game. I really do want to get into that. And honestly, guys, Big Frag kind of called it and summed it up pretty well in one of his tweets. When we did the creator playtest, a lot of people were upset that it wasn't given to everybody to try and get feedback on, but we were saying it wasn't ready for that. If it launched like it was, everybody would be mad. There would be a ton of negative reviews. And that is actually, essentially kind of what happened. And I really do want to hear from you guys in the comments and talk about kind of the overarching theme of this video is going to be, this game is truly next gen. And sadly, it leaves some people behind. And I want to talk about that and kind of where we are, from like a ethics standpoint about when is it okay to draw a really hard hardware line in the sand and say, if your card's older than this, I'm sorry. If it's newer than this, enjoy, because you finally get to use the full potential of your newer technology. So we're going to get into that, but I do want to address some of the big negative themes that I see when it comes to reviews, as well as people talking on Twitter and on X. One of the things I see, one of the big things is that the PvP quests are non-existent. The PvE stuff is boring. A lot of people are talking about how it's really slow to get started. The PvE quests are lame. And then you look up at the review and they've only played 4 hours. They've only played 2 hours. Well, to give you guys some context, I played for about 6 hours on stream, and I knew where to go because I'd done a lot of the opening quests in the creator playtest. And it took me like 6 hours to get through that. I'm just only now getting to where I'm going to be doing quests in shared areas with other factions, and I can expect some PvP, which I really do enjoy PvP in this game. It's pretty emergent. It happens at any time, and it's definitely dynamic. So I enjoy that part of it so much, but you have to play for a while to get to those points. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's actually good for an early access game, and we're going to talk about exactly what early access means, because I've been on both sides of the fence with that as well. That's why this topic is so wild for me and so intricate and nuanced for me, is because I've been on both sides of this before. But with a truly next gen title launching with 150 quest lines in early access after a year of development is pretty wild to me. And you guys could argue about the release timing with the drama that's going on with Tarkov and stuff like that. I don't even know if I'm supposed to share this or not. I hope I won't get in trouble, because I really appreciate Rick and all those guys over at Madfinger Games, but this game was not rushed to release. This was the plan. They needed to launch it now, and you can tell from on Twitter how they talk about early access gives them funds to get the game over the finish line. They needed to do the release now. It has always been planned for now. In the creator Discord for months, they had been telling us that we were going to get 7 days early access and the game was going to launch on the 8th day. That has been the plan since well before the Tarkov drama happens. Like I said, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but just wanted to let you guys know I don't think it matters too much. That's been the plan all along. They've said that as well. They're not doing that. It has been the plan to launch in this state, in this early access. And it truly has been an early access game. We've got burned by so many in the past, and that's why I think a lot of the mixed reviews are coming in the way they are. But as far as the quests go, I really don't think that is from people who have played long enough to get to the crazy quest with all the different things, the different keys you have to get, places you have to go, things you have to pick up that all fit into the lore. I actually think the quests are pretty well designed. One of the other things that I think have a lot of people frustrated is if you do pick the wrong faction, that you are hosed. You're stuck into that faction. There are rumors floating around. I have not heard anything official from them, but there are rumors from GZW Intel Online. I don't know how clear it is. But it would not surprise me the way these devs are listing that they are working on a self-wipe where you can wipe your character and switch factions before the main wipe and sooner on, so you can play with your friends. I tried to make this known in my tips and tricks video. It's the very first thing I said. I let people know that you do have to pick the same faction as your friends and to please coordinate that, because as of now, you're locked into it. Hopefully they're working on a fix. I don't think it would hurt the game at all if people could wipe their character and start over so they can play with their friends. You're gonna pay for it a little bit, so I don't think it would be really exploitable in any way. I think there are valid criticisms when it comes to key binds, key rebinding. I think that needs to be there. That's not something outlandish to expect in an early access title. Team killing and griefing definitely needs some work. There needs to be some more mechanics, and they have stated that they are working on this. There needs to be some more mechanics to punish people who are griefing. I've worried a lot about how the game could be griefed. There's several mechanics in it that lend itself to being griefed, and hopefully they are working on that. And now the biggest thing that I want to talk about, and that is people's poor performance with the game. And I do have to say, this is going to be difficult to get out and not sound like a jerk. The game ran fine for me. I'm going to say it, I'm on a 4090. So I can already see the comments being typed. You have a 4090. Well, yeah, it's going to run on a $1,400 card. Like, blah, blah, blah. I get it, guys. I have a good card. I bought it so I don't have to do a 2 PC setup when I stream. I stream and record from the same machine. I send a stream out to twitch.tv/crash8. If you want to hang out with me, I would love to see you there. And then also I record in a high resolution 2K, as well as I record vertical formats for like TikTok and shorts and stuff like that. So my PC is doing all of that stuff at the same time. So I'm definitely putting it to work. So it's, you know, it even is taking a little bit of a hit there in the gameplay for sure. Where I can say that it's not just me. I don't think it's a 4090 thing. I don't think it's a raw computing power thing. I generally think, and I didn't realize this, and I hope you guys will let me state my case so you're not mad at me, because had I known this, had I known older hardware was going to have this much of an issue, I would have told you guys. And what I really think it is, I think it's a generational issue with the cards. I think 40 series cards run really well because I did not realize that the game can rely so much on the newest version of DLSS. It sounds like 30 series uses FSR a little bit better, and it can help, and 20 series cards are a little bit of a crapshoot. But why I didn't warn you guys about this is honestly because I didn't know. I get the same really similar frames. I even get higher frames in this game than I do in Warzone. A lot of times my frames in Grayzone will be higher than Call of Duty Warzone, which is a really optimized game that runs on older versions of consoles, all the way down to older cards and everything like that. So it did not occur to me that this game would not scale the same. And you might think that a lot of the creators held information back or whatever, but I think it's really important to note I was getting similar frames to all other games that are AAA shooters. So I didn't understand that it wouldn't scale to older hardware. And that's a little bit on me, but that's just also one of those things. I really didn't know that would be an issue. And during the creator playtest, I had a friend playing on a 20 series card, playing on a 2080 Ti, and he was getting just fine frames using FSR on playing 1080p, getting 60 to 90 frames. I had another friend playing on a 3080, and it was working just fine. Switching between FSR and DLSS were pretty similar for him. Playing on 2K, staying in the upper 80s, 60 frames, never ever dropping below 60 frames. So I really just didn't see this coming with a lot of people. And that's where I see a little bit of things that are probably going to get fixed, because I see a lot of disparity between people's performance online with similar cards, and it's really interesting. So I definitely want to get into some of the settings that might help you guys, and why I think this problem is a little bit weird, and where I wouldn't worry too much about a lot of these problems as it's in early access. I think a lot of these things are going to get fixed. The dev team is working 24/7. What's up, guys? It's Crash from the future. And as this video was uploading, Mara tweeted what they are actually working on, so I can kind of give you a definitive guide on what is in the pipe to help with some of the issues. And these sound really good if they can get them done and out the door. They're fixing the Scala issue, several GPU crashes when VRAM is full, an option to wipe your account and start again in a hot fix. So this should be coming soon. Increased connection timeout if some players are kicked out due to slow to load the game, so they're working on that. And then the next ASAP hotfix is the thing they're going to be working on next. fix player persistent data corruption, that's the missing heads and stuff like that, various optimizations to increase FPS. Optimization is going to be one of the biggest things working on all times. Disabling high-res textures for GPU with 8 gig VRAM only, so disabling those so you can't really overload your GPU like you could before, and then more optimized low settings to increase FPS and things that he doesn't remember because he's probably hasn't slept very much. And then the next main patch is going to have more than 100 fixes that need to be tested properly before release. So this happened while I was uploaded, so I wanted to cut it and give you guys directly from the source what they are working on. And to be honest, these are many of the negative review reasons that you see on Steam. And I think this game is truly, time will tell, but I think this game is truly using early access as it should. And we've been burned so many times. It's really easy, and I understand hopping on the hate wagon because there have been a numerous amount of first-person shooter early access games that have never gotten across the finish line. But I think this team's work ethic, they've already put out some hot fixes. They're communicating with people. They're working through support tickets. They want the game to be good. They're working really hard on it. And I think a lot of these problems are going to be fixed. I do want to say the caveat though, this is Unreal Engine 5. It is using some of the newest DLSS stuff. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where you're going to get really good and crazy frame rates on lower 20 series cards and any kind of 10 series cards. I think that's always going to be an issue just because this game is running on newer tech. And what I mean about it being like a next gen title, it truly is next generation. You can see serial numbers on attachments, the way the vegetation interacts with the helicopter prop wash. There's procedural muzzle flashes with vegetation interacting with the muzzle flash. The empty casings even have their own physics. They are the true caliber of the brass from the rounds that you shoot. They have their own physics. They are like the clip I'm showing you is 7.62. It has physics. It rolls down the roof that I'm standing on. I even got killed during the creator play test, watched it in slow motion, and I could see the actual copper bullet rendered out of the muzzle. So that's actually being modeled and taken care of and rendered out. The bullets are in the game if you can slow down the footage on the right frame. So it's actually crazy and super next generation. And yeah, that just is such a weird conundrum at when do we draw the line. So some of the things that I found online, I think it's probably best to start out with what Grazone Warfare themselves posted. They said that for 30 series and lower with lower performance, use FSR with frame generation on, super resolution performance, or balanced. For 40 series cards, use DLSS setup for best performance. It shows those onto the screen. You can screenshot this if you want to. And also for the 40 series, use toggle on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling and the Windows display settings. And I'll pop up another thing that shows you where you can find that. Here is like the address for that within your system settings where you can find where to turn that on. Then you'll have to restart your PC for that to take effect. For AMD graphics cards, use FSR. I also have some friends that have been running the game very well on mid-sized AMD cards using this feature. And then also for the best AMD settings, use frame generation on and super resolution on settings, which provide the best balance for performance and image quality. So you guys can see where the options are for that on this graphic. Some of the things I saw around Twitter and Steam are like crazy with people having the same setups and a ton of different performance issues. There's even one person on Steam, this might be helpful for older hardware. This user on Steam is actually getting 1440p frames with a 1080 Ti, which is kind of crazy, using these settings on the screen. So if you have a way older graphics card, potentially this might help you. I hope this does help. And then someone else over on Twitter said no hiccups at all running on a 4070, was able to run on Epic with 150 plus frames consistent. It is just crazy, like the difference in how people are running. This person had a 3070 and had 85 to 90 frames a second, which is a big solid for this big map, as they stated. And there are also people on my timeline that I was trying to help with the same 3070 setup and having a hard time getting the frames to work. So hopefully these settings, and especially the ones from Grazone Warfare themselves, will help you. I've also heard mixed reviews. So with that hardware scheduling, I've heard some people it really helped and some people it really hurt. So you could try that for sure. The other thing that helped me get quite a few frames, and I honestly am not sure if their FOV is computing like traditional FOVs in other shooters. I turned the FOV quite a ways down, almost all the way down. So because I thought my sights looked really far away. Like when I was using the EOTech, it felt like I said in my other video, it's like looking through a toilet paper tube at arm's distance. So I lowered my FOV quite a bit. It renders less pixels on your screen, and I honestly gained like 20 or 30 frames. So even though you might not like it, if you want to bump up that performance just a little bit, I would recommend lowering the FOV. Also, you will have stuttering at first, no matter your graphics card. When entering towns, when spawning into the map, the game is optimizing shaders. It's caching some shadows and shaders. That's hard to say. It's caching all that stuff. So you're gonna have hiccups at first. The longer you stay in the server, generally, the smoother it gets. So I wonder if a lot of the issues people are reporting and refunds are people that popped in, it was stuttering, they went to a town, it stuttered a little bit, they alt F4'd and got out of there. Because a lot of people reporting those issues had a really low time played on Steam. So if you're having stutters and things like that, give it time. A lot of times the servers will even out, those shaders will get cached, and the game will run better the longer you stay in there if you can gut it out for a little bit. Even on my high-end hardware, I get stutters the first time I launch in. It takes a little bit of time to even out, as well as approaching new towns for the first time. And then once those shaders are cached and optimized, it works a lot better and a lot smoother. So those are some of the things to try. Try these settings, try giving it some time, try lowering the FOV, and hopefully this can get you to a frame rate that you can enjoy. Because as this being an early access title, I think it truly is, and it's going to take a long time. I know a lot of people get turned off by early access. I know there's things like Tarkov that have been playable in early access for 10 years, and you know, we worry about stuff like that happening. But I think this is truly the proper use of early access, to where they need these funds to finish getting the game across to 1.0. And based on the track record of this dev team, their transparency, and basically everything they've told us, the honesty from the creative director, we don't really have any reason to doubt them at this point. I don't want to sound like a shill or anything like that. Obviously, they're not paying me, or these are all just straight up my opinions. And if we have any reason to doubt them, I guarantee I will tell them to you guys, and I will always be honest with you, because my community comes first. And I really didn't want this to be a video where I sounded like I'm like, well, if you don't have a 4090, that's on you. Like, get a better computer, scrub. Like I don't want it to be like that. I think that's like a troglodyte way of looking at issues like this, because I think it is incredibly nuanced. And I want to know in the comments down below a couple different things. How the game ran for you on what card. Maybe there's some tricks you can help some other people down in the comments below with what you tried to get the game to run better. Maybe we can help more people enjoy this game, because I'm having a lot of fun with it. I would love to see the community grow. As well as, when do you think it's okay? When do you think it's okay to draw the line and not support kind of older hardware with the newest technology, and then give people with the newest hardware the true potential unlocked with the hardware that they have? Like, where is that a feasible line? Where is that ethically kind of moral to not, you know, cut old people off or cut older hardware off too early? Where is that line? Because that's what we're kind of seeing right now with like all 40 series cards running really well, 30 series cards taking some tricks, and 20 series cards and earlier really having a hard time. And I'm not sure if it will get better with that. Guys, if you made it to the end of the video, I cannot thank you enough. The support on the channel for the Grayzone stuff has been absolutely insane. I'm humbled by it. I'm so thankful. There are so many awesome creators. There's a lot of Tarkov creators doing stuff, and awesome Grayzone creators. And the fact that you choose to watch my videos is humbling, and I appreciate it so much. Let me know in the comments what you think of all this, guys, and I would love to see you on the next video.